spoke with Agent White, he said, "I don't see the rank 6 hunter." White responded, "We lost contact with him a few days before the conference. The secret agency and the Brazilian government still haven't found his whereabouts." Hearing that, Jinwoo wondered if the hunter had already been taken by the enemy. He thought, that leaves 7 people on the list. Back in Korea, Chairman Go Gun-hee sits in his office, feeling his heart. He thinks, "It's quite strange. My heart refuses to stop shaking these days." Seeing his trembling hand, he thinks, "It's been this way for a couple of years now, but it's definitely getting worse recently. Is this my limit?" He recalls what the doctors told him, that continuing this work could cost him his life within 6 months. But 2 years have passed since then, and he's managed to endure until now. "I suppose I should be thankful I've lasted this long," he thinks. Just then, he receives a phone call. It's his wife, asking if he's all right. After hanging up, he smiles and thinks, she's such a worrywart. I was just about to head back, but suddenly he senses a presence in the room. He sits up and looks to the side. Standing there is the Monarch of Frost, Sillid. Looking at him, the chairman thinks, I wonder if I can even have a proper conversation with him. I didn't sense him arrive at all. Judging by his aura, he realizes he's not someone I can take on alone. Sillid tells him, this place has already been isolated from the outside world. The chairman wonders, am I dreaming right now? Sillid attacks with a shard of ice. If this were a dream, he says, do you think you'd feel that? Struck by the attack, Go-gun-hee responds, I'll ask you once more. Who are you? Sillid rises and says, I was hoping you'd recognize me without the need for introductions. But it seems you're just a mere human after all. The chairman is confused by his words. Sillid releases a wave of mana. I have no interest in playing with weaklings, he says. Reveal yourself, fragment of luminosity. Maybe you're worried your medium will break if you do, but it's bound to break sooner or later. And if that's what you're afraid of, then this conversation is already meaningless. He launches another ice attack, hitting Go-gun-hee directly. With a smirk, Sillid says, we meet at last. As the dust clears, glowing eyes appear, and his next attack is effortlessly deflected. Go-gun-hee stands completely unharmed. Sillid calls him the most brilliant fragment of luminosity. Go-gun-hee responds, you isolated my office and trapped it in a dimensional rift. Not bad. Sillid replies, I've been looking for you for a long time. To think, you were struggling to use your power while trapped in a broken medium. We've already located all 7 of your fragments and broken 2 of them. All I wanted was to see the shame on your prideful face before I destroyed you. Now that I've seen it, I can kill you without regret. The chairman, furious, says, try it if you can, Monarch of Frost. Hearing that, Sillid responds, so you're choosing to fight. How foolish. You, who are merely borrowing the body of a human, versus me, who has fully conquered one. He taunts further, do you really think you can even land a single hit on me? Sillid prepares for battle, filling the room with ice and attacking. But the chairman smashes through the ice with a headbutt, then leaps towards Sillid and throws a punch. Sillid, however, is too fast. He dodges and counters, manifesting an ice spike that nearly pierces the chairman's head. Spotting an opening, the chairman throws a punch at Sillid's face, but Sillid quickly freezes his entire arm, stopping the strike. Using brute strength, the chairman shatters the ice and grabs for Sillid. The fight intensifies, but the chairman's body begins to falter. I need to finish this while I can still move, he thinks, and he launches a powerful punch towards Sillid to end the fight. Just before it connects, Sillid conjures an ice shield. The force of the punch sends him flying back, but the chairman drops to one knee, his body giving out. Is this my limit? He wonders. Seeing him in that state, Sillid remarks, it seems you've reached the limit of your medium. How pitiful, fragment of luminosity. Before the chairman can respond, Sillid uses his speed to pierce his chest with an ice sword. Smirking, he asks, how long do you think it will take you to find a new medium? 1 year too. Unfortunately for you, our forces have already gathered. This world will be destroyed before you return. Your mistake was trying to protect this world. Did you really think you could defeat me without your guards? But to his surprise, the chairman starts to smile. "Do you really think I fought you for no reason?" he says. "Just like we didn't expect you to follow in our footsteps? There's something important you overlooked." Silid, confused, asks what he's talking about. Gathering the last of his energy, the chairman throws a fireball. Silid dodges, and it hits the wall behind him. "You almost had me," Silid scoffs. "Is this what that important thing was?" The chairman replies, "This is exactly what I meant." Silid turns toward the wall and sees a crack forming in the barrier. The barrier breaks. "For this, you risked everything," Silid says. "I doubt anything would change even if this were to work." The chairman gives a signal, and a shadow soldier that Jinwoo had left with him emerges, managing to reach the real world. Upon seeing the creature, Silid scoffs and says, "What can one single resident of the abyss do against us?" Before he can finish his sentence, he notices something unsettling about the soldier and immediately realizes he needs to eliminate it. He rushes after the ant, but it has already escaped the dimension and reached Earth. Scylla draws his weapon and prepares to strike. He manages to land a blow, but his expression changes as he sees someone block it. Jin Wu, who had stopped the attack with nothing but his bare hand. Jin Wu grabs Scylla by the neck and demands, "Who the hell are you?" calling him an ice elf. Scylla, recognizing Jin Wu as the Monarch of Shadows, responds, "The number of soldiers I can feel from your shadows. Why didn't you come into contact with us? Even after gathering such a significant force? You must be the one he told me about, the one I was missing." Scylla then begins to freeze Jinwoo's arm. Despite the chilling magic, Jinwoo calmly summons his dagger and effortlessly shatters the ice. Looking down at Jinwoo, Scylla says, "Why don't we stop here for today? I'm not here to risk my life in a fight." Jinwoo asks what he means, and Scylla points toward the chairman's office. "Didn't you come to save that human?" Jinwoo suddenly remembers. The ant soldier he left behind was meant to protect the chairman. Horrified, Jinwoo sees the chairman's dire condition. Manifesting an ice sword, Scylla gives Jinwoo an ultimatum. "Will you fight me or save him?" He throws the ice weapon toward the chairman. Jinwoo attempts to stop it using his ruler's authority, but a notification appears. The opponent's magic is resisting the authority of the ruler. Panicking, Jinwoo throws a dagger to intercept the sword, but it dodges the blade midair and continues toward the chairman. Jinwoo has no choice. He chooses to save the chairman, managing to deflect the attack out of the building. When he turns back to Sealed, the Monarch has already opened a portal and is trying to leave. Jinwoo activates Dagger Rush, summoning all his blades and launching them at Sealed. One of them manages to pierce his shoulder. Sealed growls, "You are but a mere vessel, and you dare scratch me." As he retreats, he declares, "I, Monarch of Frost, will withdraw for now. Wait until next time. For now, think of the nearly dead human as a gift for your shadow army." After he disappears, Jinwoo turns toward the chairman, frustrated that he couldn't sense anything because of the barrier. Assessing the situation, he realizes the injuries are too severe for a regular healing potion. He summons Baru, who arrives instantly. Jinwoo begs him to heal the chairman at all costs. Baru tries, but after a moment, he tells Jinwoo his healing isn't working. As a last resort, Jinwoo takes out the holy water of life, hoping it might work. But the chairman stops him, saying, "Please, don't." He thanks Jinwoo for coming to save him. Jinwoo urges him to hold on a bit longer so he can send him to a hospital, but the chairman calmly replies, "It's no use. Nothing can be done after taking damage from those kinds of attacks." He expresses relief that Jinwoo was there to fight the Monarchs, and gratitude that someone like Jinwoo possesses such power. He warns Jinwoo that one day he'll have to choose a side, and pleads with him to remain on the side of humanity. The chairman, full of pride, says he always wanted to fight alongside young hunters like Jinwoo. He expresses no regrets, knowing he can leave the future in the hands of people like him. As his life fades, he says, "The reason my heart didn't stop beating until now was to meet you. It was all to meet you." With a peaceful smile, he closes his eyes, whispering, "What a relief. Thank you very much." Fast forward to next day, the news that Brazil's top hunter, Jonas, was found dead in a nearby river, and that the Korean Hunter Association's chairman, Go Gun-hee, was brutally murdered after being stabbed in the heart, is making headlines around the world. The entire globe is thrown into a state of panic. Mainstream media outlets everywhere are focused on the shocking deaths of these high-ranking hunters. The United States Hunter Bureau even issues a joint statement regarding the incident. Hunters protect humanity, but who will protect the hunters, they ask. The deaths of world-class hunters mark a threat of an entirely new magnitude. We then see Sung Jinwoo attending Chairman Go Gun-hee's funeral. Jinwoo turns to Hunter Woo Jin-chul and asks if he's all right. Woo Jin-chul, devastated by the chairman's death, apologizes, saying, "I haven't been myself lately." He then asks, "Was the monster that killed the chairman? Was it impossible to kill, even with your strength?" Jinwoo replies that by the time he arrived, it was already too late. Woo Jin-chul says it still doesn't feel real. "Just yesterday, he told me he wanted to hear about my stay in the US. He urged me to hurry back, and now he's gone." He thanks Jinwoo for trying to save the chairman in his final moments. But Jinwoo, filled with fury, responds, "No, I will kill it. I swear on my life, I will kill the monster that killed the chairman. Only then will I accept your thanks." He then asks Woo Jin-chul to call in the reporters. Fast forward, Sung Jinwoo holds a press conference, addressing the current threat to the world. He announces that a colony of monsters with exceptionally high intelligence is targeting top-ranked hunters. These monsters are far stronger than most hunters. They have no regard for weapons or conventional tactics. They excel at sealing off open areas with magic, isolating their targets, and striking with deadly precision. Jinwoo urges, hunters who believe they could be targets should surround themselves with comrades willing to protect them. He recalls the terrifying enemy who introduced himself as the Monarch of Frost before teleporting away, and how defeating such a being seemed impossible, even for the strongest hunters. Jinwoo finishes his speech with a final message to the world. "If you don't have comrades who can stand with you, contact me through the Korean Hunter Association." The scene shifts to a cave where all the monarchs are gathered, discussing their next move. Sillad, the Monarch of Frost, informs the other monarchs that the Shadow Monarch has appeared on the surface of the earth. Yogamont, the king of demonic specters and monarch of transfiguration, questions him. "Didn't you say there was no vessel that could fully contain the true powers of the Shadow Monarch? Isn't that the same reason the Dragon King, the monarch of destruction, can't remain on the surface?" Sillad replies that the Shadow Monarch is now more of a threat than the fragment of brilliant light, and informs the others that he intends to deal with Jinwoo himself. He then asks if the others are willing to help him. Tarnak, the king of monstrous humanoids and monarch of the Iron Body, warns Sillad that by picking a fight with the Shadow Monarch, he's essentially committing suicide. He reminds them that Jinwoo is one of the strongest of the 9 monarchs. Tarnak suggests they wait for the return of the Dragon King instead. Sillad counters that while they may currently be on the run, they are still monarchs. He argues that their only chance to defeat the Shadow Monarch is now, while he's still bound to his human vessel. He asks again for their support, promising to take full responsibility and erase Jinwoo from existence. Tarnak and Yogamont declines, saying he doesn't want to end up like the Monarch of White Flames. Raken, the king of beasts and monarch of fangs, steps forward and agrees to help Sillad. Tarnak reminds Raken of what happened to the Monarch of White Flames after his defeat, warning that falling under the Shadow Monarch's authority means eternal servitude. Raken responds that the Shadow Monarch can't turn them into shadow soldiers in their original forms. Tarnak then reveals that the Shadow Monarch and the system administrator are now working together, so there's a chance he can turn them into shadow soldiers, even in their original state. With that, Tarnak and Yogamont leave, saying they refuse to become tools in Shadow Monarch world. After they leave, Raken asks Sillad for proof that Jinwoo is still human. Sillad shows him the dagger he used in battle, saying it was coated with poison, something the real Shadow Monarch wouldn't need to use. This intrigues Kureisha, the queen of insects and monarch of plagues. She notes that if the Shadow Monarch had full control over his human vessel, he wouldn't need to resort to such tactics. Sillad then asks her if she'll join them. Kureisha agrees, and Raken declares that they will kill the Shadow Monarch together. Meanwhile, Jinwoo stands atop a building, trying to locate Sillad. He thinks, "I can't sense his magic power." He recalls their earlier battle, thinking he didn't have a shadow with him, and he said he was in his original form. Jinwoo remembers what the monarch of the giants told him, that monarchs and rulers in their original forms cannot become shadow soldiers. Back at the Hunters Association, Woo Jin-chul and the rest of the officials are in a meeting to select a new chairman. They discuss how the position has been vacant for about a week. They note that having an S-rank hunter as the previous chairman held great symbolic meaning. Now that the association overseeing the five great guilds has lost such a figure, they wonder who will be able to keep the guilds in check. Though high-rank hunters are influential, extra caution is needed when considering outsiders. After much discussion, all the directors unanimously decide to choose Woo Jin-chul as the new president of the association. Taken by surprise, Wu asks why they are choosing him. The directors explain that Wu had closely assisted the former chairman and gained significant experience. He has proven leadership skills and the ability to mobilize hunters when necessary. They remind him that there is no law stating only an S-rank hunter can become the president. They stress the need for a president who can influence and command the respect and even fear of hunters. Wu is described as the perfect candidate, especially given his connections and authority over Korea's great forces. While they cannot force their decision on him, they respectfully ask him to consider their proposal. Wu replies, "I will." Meanwhile, in the U.S., at the Scavenger Guild headquarters, Thomas Andre, accompanied by Laura, is riding an elevator down to an underground facility. Thomas remarks that it's been a while since he last came down there. As they walk through the facility, Laura asks if he truly plans to give that away as a gift. Thomas replies by asking, "Do you think it's not worth the lives of me and the guild members?" Laura clarifies that's not her concern. Thomas then asks, "Do you think Jinwoo lacked the skills to use it?" As they stop in front of the weapon, Thomas comments on how incredible it still looks. Laura tells him there are only two such weapons in the entire world, and she's sure that number will never increase. Thomas agrees, and when asked again if he's really going to give it away, says that's exactly why he will. He adds that it's a waste for the best weapon in the world to sit around gathering dust. Back in Korea, Gina is watching the news that Hunter Woo Jin-chul has been promoted to chairman of the Hunters Association. Seeing this, she says, "They say the previous chairman was murdered, and now a handsome man has taken over. This country is unstable, and so is the rest of the world." She looks at her mother, who is washing dishes, and hugs her from behind. Her mother says, "If you don't have anything better to do, could you please take out the trash?" Gina replies, "I'm too lazy to do that." She then says, "We should move to a new place." Her mother responds, "I like this house." Gina asks, "What is it that you like about this old apartment?" Changing the subject, her mother asks her to retrieve the clothes from the washer. As Gina opens the door, she is shocked and starts to run, calling out for her mother. Meanwhile, outside the Asian Guild headquarters, reporters have gathered after hearing the news that Thomas Andre is inside the building. Jinho is trying to keep his emotions in check, unsure of what to do with both Thomas and Leonard Newman, the strongest hunter in Germany, present in the office. He thinks, 2 hours have already passed since they arrived. "Where are you, Jin Wu? Please pick up my calls." Leonard, feeling uneasy, thinks, Thomas Andre, the Goliath, is searching for Jin Wu. "Will I be able to meet him today?" Thomas asks a question, and Laura translates, "Is Mr. Jin Wu in the middle of a raid? It seems like he doesn't come to the office regularly." With a shaky voice, Jinho replies, "Yes." As they are talking, Jin Wu enters the office. Everyone is relieved to see him. Jin Wu notices Thomas sitting there and thinks, "I saw a mob of reporters outside, so Thomas really is here." Jinho, almost in tears, asks Jinwoo where he was and why he wasn't answering his phone. Seeing his dusty clothes, he wonders what Jinwoo was doing. Jinwoo replies, "There have been a lot of gate outbreaks recently. I can't afford to slack off." Thomas approaches him, saying, "Long time no see." Jinho watches, wondering, are these two going to fight inside the guild office? Jinwoo asks, "What brings you all the way to Korea?" Thomas responds, "I promised you that we'd have a meal together once my arm healed." He adds that he brought a special gift that piques Jinwoo's interest. Thomas then says, "I'm glad to see Mr. Jinwoo looking forward to it, but we should move to a more comfortable place. The gift is a bit too dangerous for here." Hearing that, Jinwoo thinks, did he bring me a bomb? Jinho is suspicious. It could be a trap. Jinwoo asks the second man about his identity, and he introduces himself. I'm Leonard Newman from Germany. Jin Wu thinks he must be here to request a protection commission. Before Jin Wu can respond, Thomas cuts in, "Shall we get going?" Neumann prepares to go with them, but Thomas stops him. "Who are you to follow us?" Newman replies, "I've already waited more than 2 hours for Hunter Jinwoo. I think I deserve a spot in this meeting." Thomas gets irritated, saying, "What we're about to talk about is top secret. It's not something someone like you can barge into." As they leave, Neumann thinks, "I've never been treated like this before." Later, we see Jin Wu and Thomas sitting in a restaurant, sharing a meal. Thomas signals to his men and says, "You don't know how long I've waited for this moment," as he places a case on the table. Jin Wu thinks, "What's that?" And Thomas says, "Can you feel the item's power?" He begins opening the case, saying, "This is me showing gratitude for what you did for my guild members." Jin Wu is left speechless when he sees the daggers inside. He asks, "Are these from the Kamish raid? Isn't Kamish's corpse currently kept by the Hunter Bureau?" Thomas explains, "Back then, the U.S. government told us to comply with the Bureau's request in hopes of gaining something more valuable than money. But Kamish's largest and sharpest canine tooth, I had it pulled out after he bit me. It was given to me as a souvenir. The tooth was too short to make a sword, so I had it turned into daggers." He tells Jinwoo that the daggers are his gift. Jinwoo is stunned to see that their attack power is 1,500, far beyond that of the Demon King's dagger, which only had an attack power of 220. He tests the weapon, and Thomas says, "Even when I used my reinforcement skills, those blades could still pierce right through." Jinwoo thinks, "This definitely feels different. It's reacting to my magic power, almost like it's greeting me." The mana radiating from the weapon causes everyone around them to sweat. Thomas asks Laura, "Do you still think giving this away was a mistake?" Then he turns to Jinwoo and asks, "Do you like the present?" Jinwoo asks, "Can I really have this for free?" Thomas answers, "What I mean by free is that I think this exchange works in my favor. Compared to the lives of me and my guildmates, this dagger is dirt cheap." As they talk, both of them suddenly sense an overwhelming burst of mana. Thomas asks, "Did you feel that too?" They rush outside, and as they look up, Jin Wu thinks, "Could that be the true form of the magical energy the doctor mentioned in his presentation?" Thomas says, "I can't believe my eyes. It's the first time I've seen one this big." He adds, "It's far bigger than the one Kamish came out of. Maybe the world is trying to tell us it has moved beyond the limits of our understanding." Outside, civilians could only stare up at the sky in shock, but instead of running for their lives, they pulled out their phones to record the phenomenon. A reporter from News stated that the gate before them was the largest ever seen since the emergence of magic beasts. The story shifts to the United States, where Dr. Belzer is being questioned by some officials about the appearance of the gate in the skies above Korea. He tells those present in the room that he has been warning about the enormous amount of magical energy that had been gathering in the skies for several days. The gate that appeared above Seoul is just the beginning, and they can expect to see more gates like this appearing in the skies of many different countries. They ask for his opinion on the matter, given his long-standing research on gates and magical beasts. Dr. Belzer replies that they should pray this phenomenon does not end in tragedy. Back in Korea, Jin Wu is flying atop Kaisel, thinking to himself that he cannot enter the gate. It feels as though he's being blocked by an invisible wall. If it were an ordinary wall, he could have broken it down. But this is something even an awakened like him cannot pass through. He wonders if the entity inside this gate is unlike anything he's encountered before. Looking down, he thinks of his friends and family beneath the gate and resolves not to let whatever is inside pass by him so easily. As he's deep in thought, Jinwoo receives a call from Chairman Woo Jin-chul. Jinwoo asks if he looked into the request he had made. Chairman Wu confirms they did. Jinwoo had asked the Hunter Bureau to scan the entire area via satellite. Chairman Wu reports that no new gates have appeared anywhere else in the world following the emergence of this massive one. He informs Jinwoo that the authorities are planning to evacuate civilians living near the gate, then asks Jinwoo what he intends to do next. Jinwoo responds, "Even if we don't know what will happen tomorrow, I will plant the apple trees regardless." The episode ends here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thanks again for your support, and I'll see you next time.